Welcome back to the neighborhood, boys and girls. Our next guest is the Marcinkowski team here. Come over across the bridge over to Jersey. Thank you guys for coming. Welcome to the neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Great to sit down and talk to you. I love meeting new people, and I talk about it on all the interviews. I really dig the backstories and finding out about how people go. So you see people on social media, you see pictures, you see posts, you see all these things, but you don't really know who the people are. So that's kind of what I want to know. How did you guys come together? How did you meet? Were you already in the business before you got together, or meet in the business? Give me a little bit of the backstory and how the Marcinkowski team came together.
So Bruno and I have known each other for about 30 years. We met
when you were like 3. You met, right?
You're right. I wish.
Got it.
About 30 years ago, and we met through mutual friends, and then reconnected back in 2017. And we were single at the time, and we got together. And I had just started in the real estate business in 2015.
Okay.
And Bruno was not yet an agent.
No.
So
you were the leader of the real estate movement, then, right?
About it.
Okay.
No question.
So I had come out of, I was in the legal field for over 20 years,
Okay.
managing law firms and that sort of thing, and then kind of hit a ceiling, nowhere else to grow, and kind of explored some other options. Real estate seemed to be something that I talked to a few people about, and then Bruno, I wanted to start a team, and once we started dating, I said, hey, would you be interested in getting a real estate license?
Be my first teammate.
Because I'm getting busier, and I'm getting kind of inundated, and I want to grow a team anyway. He was a little hesitant, and I guess I can let Bruno tell the rest.
Yeah, I come from a small business background. I own, as I mentioned, some of the local pool halls in Philadelphia for some years, and my dad from Binney and Flynn. So, I did have some small business experience. I also have my background with computer securities, which I did for years, which I was doing when Stacy and I had gotten together, and I was getting slower. And I was always into commercial real estate and into some basic investments, and it made a lot of sense to be the first member of the Dream Team 1.
Nice.
With Stacy, yeah.
Now, did you have an entrepreneurial background? You said you were in real estate offices, but is your family business people, or were you like the first trailblazer on the business side?
So, in the fact of owning my own business, yes, I was. My father was the VP of banking, and he was in that for his entire life. So he ran 500 and so people.
Nice.
My mom was in some sales. She sold Prince's House Crystal. So she did that for over 20 years, and she also worked for a school. So, but delving into this, and this was the first time I ever, ventured out on my own to grow a business.
Nice. And how do you guys divvy up the responsibilities? Because not a husband and wife business, but I was in business with my brother for a couple different ventures, a couple different years, and we always kind of stumbled with divvying up the tasks, who's responsible for what, and then small little clashes for when Bruno was supposed to make the phone call and he didn't make the phone call, and then it didn't happen. Stacy was angry. So how do you divvy that up, and how do you juggle that?
Yeah, and a lot of people asked us that, and we use an analogy. Two roofers generally wouldn't be the best partners.
Sure.
Right? And of course they can be. But if you have a roofer and a carpenter, I feel like they're really going to stay out of each
complement
other's
each
lane.
other. Yeah.
So my background with small business and marketing, as you see, social media, things like that, really lended a hand. And Stacy has her HR degree and things like that, and she has been in command of a lot of folks with the legal industry, so contract work, negotiations, things like that. Stacy trained me on a lot of the buyer piece, which was great because you could get off the ground quickly.
Sure.
And so I handle a lot of the initial lead contact and things like that. Stacy's with me for all of it. It's not like we haven't been apart probably in 4 years. We've been together every minute of every day for 4 years. We
Nice.
go to the gym together, we eat together, we work together, we start the day together, we end the day together. Usually, almost always with a kiss.
That's not bad. That's not a bad. That's not a bad way.
Yeah, so we definitely stay out of each other's lanes, and we work hard to respect each other's decisions, even if we don't always agree. You know,
Sure.
if I say, hey, I want to do a social media campaign X, Y, and Z and spend X on it or X time, Stacy might say, well, you know, we budgeted this, let's do that. And I may not. I say, hey, I want to do. We just agree with that. You know,
Yeah.
if she wants to do something, we talk about it. But if it's her situation, a lot of the hard negotiations and things, I may lend a hand, but generally, that's where
Defer
she is.
to her.
And
Nice.
we don't cross that line.
Nice.
You know, and that's how we stay out of those debates and things.
Okay. And what about like new business comes in? Is there someone who you take buyer leads, you take seller leads, or is it, you know, hey, look, one and one and one and one, or
Yeah, so again, we're together, you know, and you know, we have our mobile office, so Stacy
Okay.
drives a lot, and I'm able to answer emails and phone calls and things. So I do make a lot of connections, but again, we're together for all of it, you know, so we're on all the showings together and a lot of that stuff. Then actually, when we're super busy, we divide
Sure,
and conquer,
sure.
you know, and that gives us an advantage there. But Stacy's been great with that with us and keeping us in our lanes.
nice. Is there a client that you guys tend to gravitate towards? Are you more listings? Are you more buyers? Are you more first-time buyers? Are you luxury homes? Or is it just kind of you'll take everybody and divvy it up?
Yeah, we have a multitude of business between residential and commercial. A lot of our business is referral and repeat business from clients that we've worked with in the past. So we'll get calls from family, friends, referrals from those folks. We have a family right now that we're working with again that has given us over 6 or 7 different leads. So we've worked with their whole family.
Sure.
So it's really personal. Bruno and I both get calls for listings, for buy sides and things like that. But that's what we were trying to do. Try to separate what we do on our own daily basis, so we don't kind of like interchange or duplicate things.
Right,
so
right.
I don't want to keep making phone calls if Bruno's already on the case.
Gotcha.
So if I'm less busy or he's less busy, we'll say, hey, can I help you out with something? Do you want
Nice.
me to do a couple searches, do this or that? But yeah, we're together on our listing appointments, we're together on our buyers consults, and then I kind of take the lead when we go into the strategy for negotiations for offers.
Okay.
And
It is very
listings.
important, Jim, that we believe that we're experts in our
Sure.
desired areas, and once you can get to that maturity level with your partner, let it be your wife or your brother or whomever, I rarely question my wife and partner.
Sure.
I do. I mean, I'm here to not be a yes man, and
Right.
she's not a yes woman.
Right.
But I want to believe that 9 times out of 10, she's making the best educated decision with the most experience, and you know what I mean. So
Sure.
very rarely am I catching myself going, "Stacey, you're just way out of whack," or she's going, "Bruno, you're just way off the mark,"
Right.
because we're trusting that we've done the research on such that project and those kind of things.
So that automatically begs the question for me: how do you remove ego from the situation? Because that's normally the tripping point in every relationship, where ego gets in the way. If you think you know the answer and you think you know better, but Stacy says no, that's not the way it is. How do you make that conversation?
And that's part of what I had just said, that you're going to be compromising a lot of your
Sure.
values, because just because I make a comment and my wife agrees with it doesn't make my comment right.
Sure.
You know, there's going to be compromise there. You know, she may say, spend the extra $100, Bruno, even though she didn't want to.
Right.
You know, because she saw that I was passionate about
Yeah.
that certain project or what have you. You know, so there's certainly compromise, but you have to believe that your partner is an expert in their field and that they're going to always give you 100% of that answer and give it an educated answer. They're best of their opportunity.
And marketing and things like that. We have budgets, yearly budgets. And, you know, we take a look at things if something's not working right. You know, for instance, for Zillow, you know, we do subscribe to Zillow.
Right.
It's just one leg of our business. But obviously, 2023 was a challenging year for
Sure,
a lot
sure.
of people. And we invest as much as we can convert. And when we're seeing our money dollars not going to work for us.
Yeah, the ROI
we
was
have
not
to-
in a couple
the
different
ROI
ways
was
there,
not.
for sure.
So we had to sit back, and that was one of the questions that we talked about. Bruno wanted to hang on for another month or two. I said, okay, if things don't improve, then let's reevaluate
Sure.
and let's scale back until kind of rebounds back.
Yeah,
we don't want to waste money.
There's never, when you're married or you're married in a business, maybe not physically married like Stacy and I, I want to believe that she's never going to ask me a question I'm going to say no to.
Sure.
And if it is a no, it's a light no. It's
Right.
you sure about that? Okay. If you're sure about that, let's do it.
Yeah.
Very rarely is she going to say something that it's just a hard no, or
Sure.
I'm going to ask her to do something that's just a hard no. And that's the respect level that you need to get to.
I think the one problem that I always say, and I know that I speak from personal experience, where we get into trouble, where I get into trouble is when I'm scorekeeping. When I'm like,
100%.
oh, you said this and that didn't work, and then you said this and that didn't work. Now we're gonna do, that's where it goes to.
Jim,
so how do you not scorekeep?
If you don't mind, Steve.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point. So, I say this as a humble, married, happy man. My wife works harder than me. She does. She works hard. I work really hard. I put a lot of time in.
Sure.
But my wife is the first one in the office, and she's the last one in the office. And she is. That doesn't mean I don't work 50, 60 hours and put my hard time in. So you have to be okay that someone may be smarter or better or put more time in. That's okay as long as you're agreeing and you're getting to the right process.
That's a tough thing to say for me as a male. That would be a tough thing.
So when your wife
to
works
acknowledge.
80 hours a week,
Yeah, I guess
and
you can't say no.
You work
Yeah,
70 hours
Right,
a week.
right.
That's an okay thing. My wife now. If she's working 70 hours a week and I'm working 30 hours a
Right.
week,
now she's gonna be scorekeeping on you, right? What's going on?
I'll be upstairs
Where
and we'll
are
be
you at?
packed up and I'll be, hey, Stace, it's 10 o'clock. We wrapped up an hour ago. And she's like, well, I'm just putting the finishing touches.
Got it.
So that's an okay thing. You can't always expect everyone to be you.
Yeah.
The phone will ring from the second level. I'm like, I'm coming up. Give me 20 more minutes, please.
It sounds like it's healthy, though. You know what I mean? I guess if it was unhealthy, it wouldn't be.
We're together 24 hours a day.
And listen, we don't agree on everything.
Sure.
We do have differences in opinions sometimes. We talk about it, and
You flip a
we
coin,
kind of,
and you're like, hey, look.
We just move on.
I'll say,
from it.
okay,
Yeah.
we'll discuss what our objectives are or why we're disagreeing on a certain thing, and we kind of work it out.
Yeah, a lot of these things that we're talking about spiritually, old school value. I was raised that women, are the number one in your life. A woman is always first. Let it be work, let it be holding the door, let it be church, let it be whatever. And I treat her that way, that she's first, and that doesn't matter if we're driving to a showing or if we're driving to dinner. I open the door for her at the showing and I open the door for her at dinner.
Sure.
And when you're consistent,
But
in,
isn't that's my tripping point. Like the woman is the queen for sure, but the old school side of me was always the man is the king of the house, and what the man says goes kind of thing. And as we were talking about, a father of 6 daughters, it's a super difficult thing for me to be modernized and to I'm totally woman empowered. I'm totally a woman can do everything a man can do. Blah blah blah. But every once in a while, when you back me up into a corner, the caveman side of me.
My wife can answer for herself, but she doesn't agree with that she can do everything that a man can do. She'll say that openly. She doesn't think that she can lift the same weight as I can.
Of course. Yeah.
And I'm just using that as a broad analogy. But in the end, your and I job is to hunt, physically take care of our wife, make love, do the things that we're supposed to do, and protect.
Sure.
And if we do more than that, wives are nurturing, they're working, and you can define work. It's up to the family to define work. But all wives are working.
Yeah.
If they're 80 hours at home or 80
1,000,000%.
hours. So you can define the word work.
Sure.
But I think that, my wife has the ability to stay home if she so chooses. That's up to her.
Right.
That's up to her. But she wants to work, and, I admire her for that. And I admire the women that do both.
Yeah.
Because that's
awesome.
It's an unbelievable thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Unbelievable thing.
So you touched on spiritual, and that's what I always like to get into as well, because real estate can be a super stressful business. Like there's a lot of times where road rage or freaking out or losing million-dollar deals and people can lose their temper. What do you do to keep your spirit nurtured? What do you do to keep your head straight, whether it's meditation or exercise or whatever? What do you do for that side of things to keep yourself straight and to move forward?
We're very close to God. We pray every day.
Okay.
We say a prayer at night. We say a prayer at dinner. At any time that we're sitting down to eat, we're always thankful for Him keeping us in check and,
Nice.
and watching over us. We also, especially Bruno a year ago, went on a significant weight loss.
I saw that.
Yeah, and he lost over 80 pounds. And he started looking at different things of knowing how to eat better. Then we started the gym together. Then I started doing more of that. And
your mom.
And my mom. So we had the whole house like on board with it.
Nice.
So that really keeps your head sane.
Sure.
Because I used to work out all the time, and then it kind of like slid by. To your point with real estate, we're always in a rush to this, and you're always working 50 million hours a week. So when we started working out, we said we need to take the time in order to stay healthy, keep our minds sane, and work with that. So.
Yeah, and in the morning, it's no phones, it's music. We get all our fresh vegetables out. We start. It's not answering emails in the morning. That's the first hour is ours.
Nice.
We hold true to that. And at night, an hour or two is ours. And we're very tough on each other with that. We're not very negotiable on that, even with work. And my wife pushes the envelope with work, and I love her for that. And I push her back,
Right.
because that's what, when you lose those $1 million deals or something does fall apart, you very rarely see us buckle because
Yeah.
we're prepared for it mentally, physically, and spiritually.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, then we go to future stuff. You guys are a team. You got to have some goals. Give me a little bit of, we're going forward in the calendar. I can't believe I'm saying 2026 now. We're going forward in the calendar 2 years, January of 2026. Give me some things that the Marcinkowski team is going to accomplish between now and then.
So right now we have a team of 6. So
Okay.
Bruno was the first team member. We thought of the name together, the Dream Team 1, and then we don't recruit. We don't search for new agents. Agents will then sometimes reach out to us. Right now we have a nice little team of 6. They all started brand new from all different careers. So we're very diversified.
Which is Stacy's preference.
Yeah, I like the diversification. We all came from different backgrounds,
Right.
and so possibly in the future we may have a few more team members. But we are looking to get our New Jersey license. We're scheduled to take our courses this upcoming Tuesday.
Nice.
So we can expand there. We have a house in Cape Coral, so we also are going to get our Florida
license.
licensing.
Okay.
That's all done.
That's
all
good.
finished up.
And
Nice.
we did take the courses already for that.
We're all finished up there.
And our house currently is an Airbnb that is being re-renovated because of Hurricane Ian, so that should be back up and
Nice.
running. But we want to
March
buy
1st,
another
yeah.
one. So more investment properties. As we get older, we want some of that passive income to assist us in our retirement. And let's see, what else?
So we also have
Boat. You want to get a
we need a
boat.
boat,
I get
yeah.
pictures of boats in my
Yeah,
text
we got
messages all the time.
Nice 35-foot formula triple, maybe. Maybe get our butts down to Key West from the back of our house, that kind
Nice.
of thing. Yeah, so we're hoping, maybe God willing, maybe an office, Dream Team 1 powered office. We also talked about, and this is the vision board stuff. We talked about. This is probably the kind of a little bit of breaking news. Serenity by the Sea is our Airbnb, and maybe doing some counseling down there.
Nice.
Bringing some folks down for a weekend away, and
retreats.
enjoying,
Yeah.
feeding the fish off the dock, and getting uncomfortable, Frank Sinatra, and fresh fruit, and feeding fish, and hot tub, and just getting away from the rush of it all, and talking finance, and nutrition, and God, and bringing the couples down that are in Philadelphia and New Jersey that are running nonstop.
Yeah.
with 8 kids.
And we've had a
massive.
couple.
Yeah,
we've had a couple of
we've had some
couples
good
like
success
come to us
stories, yeah.
that were, having some troubled marriage issues, and just said, "How do you guys like work through it?"
Yeah.
So we
have a
brought them
couple
down for
success
like the
stories.
weekend, and
That's awesome.
kind of just talked about our background and what we do, and how we could maybe help in some of that regard for theirs.
Yeah, we had
And
one couple
now
that
they're
was
thriving
divorced.
right now.
Yeah, and they were divorced, and now they moved to Florida, and they're back together.
They're back together?
And they've been working with us quietly. Not
Yeah.
we're not doing it, just having a little fun and.
That's
and
awesome.
Just sharing some good energy. We're big energy people.
I love
think the energy is 100% transferable.
I love it. We're going to take a quick break so we don't go over our 20-minute thing that's going to mess our video up. We're going to come right back and finish up. I got 2 more questions for you. We'll pop right back after this.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Back from our break here. We were finishing up because you said a word that I love. You said energy, and I love that. And I love people that like people. Like I don't ever understand how someone says I don't like people, or I don't want to be around people. I'm like, dude, that's so negative. The idea that you help people is so awesome. Like the greatest thing that I can ever do is help somebody without the expectation of a financial gain in return. Like someone is in need and I could help them, and of course I am getting a spiritual return from helping them. Of course, I'm not like Mother Teresa and don't get any good from it. But I love that type of thing, and that's the energy that I got from you guys. Like you're there to help people, and I had no idea that you were doing those missions.
There's 2 things. Every relationship in your life has to be reciprocal.
Sure.
It doesn't mean that you have to both spend $100 on dinner. It just means that if your dog needs to be babysat, you help.
Sure.
Every person that you call every day, there has to be give and take. Or else you get to a stage of your life where what are the relationships there for? They say you surround yourself with people that make you better, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you have to take that one step closer, because if you surround yourself with 5 millionaires or billionaires, if you like, that are all Ms. Robs,
then
that's not making you better. You need to surround yourself with people that not only make you better, but they make you a better person. They make your energy better. They see the world in a better light. They don't see the world, as high interest rates and big inflation and Donald Trump and Joe Biden. They see just the positive energy that they're creating. And that's where you really need to focus, and not just rich people.
Sure.
Rich is a lot of definitions.
Sure. I like to be around people that force me to step my game up. You know what I mean? Whether it's mentally, spiritually,
not just
intellectually.
I think people keep messing that up. All these talking heads on Facebook, they're with their abs and their jets. They're talking about finances all the time. Well, finances are like our 3rd or 4th most important thing every day. It's the 4th thing we get to. It's not the 1st.
Yeah, and I dig people that are different. Like people that are like, oh, I only want to be around Republicans, or I only want to be around Democrats. I really like to be around. I want to talk to someone who's Islamic, or I want to talk 100%. Because I can't expand my vision if I don't see someone else's view. Like you can't know. Maybe only 1% of what they say I'll agree with, but that'll still make me 1% better. 100%. That'll still make me see it through other people's eyes. So I don't want to be around everyone who's just like me. I want to be around other colors, other races, other religions, other backgrounds. I love that stuff. I don't want to. Being around a bunch of me is boring. You know what I mean? Like I like a couple. I like some Eagles fans. You know what I mean? I like some sports people or whatever. But I love the energy of the differences and all that stuff. Going into the same thing with your energy, is there certain podcasts, is there certain influences that you guys have that you enjoy, whether it's Ed Milet or other religious stuff? Is there something that your go-to where you're driving in the car, you're like, hey, this feeds me?
Well, we've listened to a lot of Matthew McConaughey.
Okay, big one.
Green Lights was a really a good one, and we've even had him invited his what was it?
It was like a private
event
podcast, yeah.
that we had our team members, and we opened it up to whomever
Sure.
wanted to come, and because we really believe in all that positive energy, and I think, you know, what you put back into the universe, you will get. So
Sure.
if it's all positive energy, you're going to get that return. Negative, same thing.
Tony,
to your point.
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins is
Sean
another
Whalen
good.
is a
Sean
good one.
Whalen.
Yeah,
But-
Ryan Stewman. I mean, there's a lot. My wife and I, we listen to a lot of folks that are on their way to becoming millionaires. You know, the Lion's Not Cheap gentleman that we referred to, Sean Whalen. You know, he does like 15 or 20 million a month. But when we first started following him, he was a $100,000-aire.
Right.
You know, so it's interesting to watch these guys. They say the best form of flattery is being copied or imitated, and everything's right online. These guys will happily show you things to get better, and we appreciate the people.
And
that
the
do that.
real estate really opened up the whole world, because I mean, I was in corporate America for so many years, being stuck in those, you know, closed offices. You're not out. You're not really, you know, meeting a ton of people outside of a smaller circle. And once we both got into real estate, I mean, not just realtors, but I mean, it expanded all over the place. To your point, where we're meeting all different types of people from all different industries, and we're put into these networking events. Josh Buchter, we have to thank him tremendously, because
he's awesome.
You know, I was in his Rising Star way back when, and my broker was the one who nominated me, and that's how we became friends with Josh. And now, I mean, our team members are now, you know, nominated in the publications. Kimberly Rudolph is going to be in the February edition for that Rising Star, and I'm really proud of them and their accomplishments. But that's how we got to meet so many wonderful people, and it really expanded our horizons. And
it's different. It's weird because I come from a food background, and most of the food industry was like, and it might have just been old school business. Like, we have a secret, and we can't tell you our secret, because if we tell you our secret, you're going to put us out of business. You know.
That's right.
And then I got around a bunch of people recently, whether it was wholesalers or realtors, where they were like, oh no, I'll share my secret with you, because, you know, I have an abundance mentality, and the world is all this. And I was like, wow, that's totally different from me, because I was always like, you can't see my chicken wing recipe, because if you get my chicken wing recipe, you're going to have my secret sauce, you know what I mean? And
it's an interesting thing you just said, Jim. If you think about social media and Facebook, which, you know that we're big components of, the industries need to see the Anthony DeChicos and the Dream Team Ones and the Gyms, and the Brian Guns or the Timmy Rockers. The folks need to see our industry doing well.
Yeah.
They need to see those posts. I know that people probably think realtors are a pain in the butt sometimes, or lending and things, but people are excited when they see beautiful houses go online. It lets people know that people like us are buying and selling. Like, you know, that people from Mayfair and Port Richmond are buying and selling, even with 7% interest rates. Why? Because we have guys like you that are doing packages and coming up with processes that are making it possible. So it's important that all of us stick together and share what we're doing, because it helps the clients in the end. You know, it all seems to get back to that.
It's everybody's American dream to have their own
everybody's
home,
winning.
and
Yeah.
it's
And
very
I think
exciting.
it's really important to genuinely want other people to do well.
That's correct.
You know, like, I joke around all the time, and my brother is in the mortgage industry, and he's the only person that I ever will admit is better than me, because he's been doing it forever. You know what I mean? And I always joke with him, and I say, I want you to come in second, really close second to me. You know, I want everyone to do really, really well. I just want to do better than everybody else. But that's not even true anymore. I really just want everyone to do well. I really want everyone to succeed.
There was a report years ago when the Fortune 500, the top 500 people was getting famous, and it was Tim Cook and Apple and Microsoft and all those things. The top 10 came out, and it was Tim Cook and a few other folks, but 6 of the top 10 all were underneath Tim Cook.
Right.
So what does that tell you? And they were executive assistants and CFOs, and that's him making all those people better and wealthier, thus made him better and wealthy. You know, not just money.
It's all different. Yeah.
You know, he's a big a philanthropist, if you agree with him or not, doesn't matter.
Sure.
But, you know, he puts a lot of money back into things. So.
And I believe, it's funny, like, I joke around, I talk about recovery all the time. I've been clean for a lot of years, and a lot of the young people in recovery. Thank you.
That's nice.
A bunch of people that I'm in recovery with, I tell them, like, rich people go to rehab every day. If money meant everything, that wouldn't be a problem, you know? So it's not just money. You can be the richest person in the world, and if your kids have a different adult as their role model,
That's correct.
you're not rich.
That's
You know what I mean? You're wealthy, totally different.
Yeah.
You know, you can have all the money in the world, and if nobody respects you when you walk in the room, if no one listens to you when you talk, how rich are you?
Or more
You know?
importantly, if you don't respect yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
more importantly than when you walk into the room, how you look in the mirror and what looks back.
Yeah.
You know, and my wife and I, we're pretty happy with what we see in the mirror.
It's awesome. All right, your personal question. This is your final question that we're going to ask. I'm going to ask each of you individually so you can both have your own answers. But I don't want to do music and I don't want to do sports. I'm going to do famous person. So you have a chance to sit down with one person throughout history who ever lived, ever, live or dead. Could be John F. Kennedy, could be whoever else back, Julius Caesar, whatever. You can have one person, you can sit down with them for a half an hour, and you can ask them, I just want to know who the person is and maybe one or two questions that you're going to ask them. I'll start with you, Bruno.
All right. Obviously, if I had the opportunity to talk to Jesus or God, that would be the number one. But
Okay.
let's put that.
All right.
Let's put them aside for a moment. That would be great. I'm a big fan of Matthew McConaughey. I'm a big fan. All I know, you gave me one, but there's some people that I really enjoy. I enjoy Denzel Washington.
Okay.
You know, these are people that are just they've been given great gifts, but it seems like they're modern day prophets. I just digress for one quick second. I wonder if Jesus today had the same skill sets and the same abilities that Tony Robbins had, if he would be the same Messiah, right?
Sure.
If he had stadiums and social media, and you know, I don't know if Jesus came back from the dead. I believe he did because I'm Roman Catholic.
Right.
But he did something.
Sure.
Was he Tony Robbins just without the megaphone? You know, we just don't know those answers. So
Yeah.
you know, that would be the person I'd love to talk to, Jesus, of course.
Jeez.
Now you got put on the stage right there. You
Such a
second
tough one.
to
I
that
mean,
one.
Yeah.
I mean, I do really like Matthew McConaughey.
Okay.
I like his tonality. I would probably ask him, well, because he's an actor too. Like, how did you? I know that he was supposed to be a lawyer and kind of shifted his
Beliefs. Yeah.
his beliefs into the acting career. But I guess I would ask him, you know, what made him change his mind, because it was two totally different roles. And
Sure.
coming from
He's supposed to be an attorney.
coming from
That's crazy.
you know, working with lawyers, totally different avenue. Of
The reason why we're so infatuated with him is because he is a very democratic, liberally deep thinker, was raised in the most conservative state area,
Sure.
town in the country. So when he talks with liberal values with a conservative upbringing.
Sure.
Fascinating to
Yeah,
listen to him.
he's
deeply.
super interesting,
Yeah.
and it's funny because when you see him, I mean, he got famous for being in Dazed and Confused. He was like the
He's a
stoner
beach
who
bum. He's
just
just a
says,
beach
"All
bum.
right, that's him." You know what I mean?
He's just a
But
beach bum, yeah.
it's crazy. I've done a bunch of stuff and listened to him, and the guy that I listened to was like, "Hey, I got Matthew McConaughey helmet on," and I'm like, the hell do I want to hear that from that guy for, you know?
Yeah.
And then he spoke for 40 minutes, and I was like, he
Fascinating.
is so
He's just-
deep, and he's so
interesting.
intelligent. Yeah.
And like his voice just, I guess, kind of
He's a good
mesmerized.
orator for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you become mesmerized by like his tonality
Mm-hmm.
and the things that just he says. It just all makes sense, you know.
We try to leave folks on things like, you know, we listen to, you know, Steve Harvey, you know, Grant Cardone and all these guys. These are all great, but try to listen to folks that talk about things that would
Sure.
surprise you. They give you some really great insight. We try to listen to some of the non-mainstream folks.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how we get some of that interesting
It was
insight.
crazy, for sure. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for coming by.
Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jim.
We'll be back with the next guest on Mr. Mortgage's Neighborhood.